Greetings, YouTubers. This is Hellshade2, and this is a video response to Largo64's video, Immortality, Is It Desirable? Well, Largo, I gotta tell you, on the point of immortality being desirable, I would say many people do desire immortality in some form or another. But as you are talking about terrestrial immortality, let us go right to the subject. Now, as far as immortality goes to me, I would say no. Okay? And there are various reasons why. Now, to my mind, I would think maybe living 200, maybe 300 years wouldn't be bad for the most part. Okay? Because you'll always get a little bit extra chance to do those things that maybe you didn't do, you know? Especially if you could be 25 or 30, you know, roughly aged for that amount to put it for those years. But as with immortality itself, which would be a major drawback on the planet for a number of reasons, when you consider ultimate resources that are on the planet, unless you found renewable sources of energy real quick, okay, those same immortal people would still be fighting tooth and nail, and immortality probably wouldn't be worth spit at that point either. So on that note, you know, there's some issues already with the whole idea of immortality. And then on the second half, there's also, let's say, governmental considerations. When you consider Social Security, you know, how old would people have to work? How old would you have to be when you didn't have to stop working? Hey, if you're immortal, I mean, you'll always be working, right? You know, because you'll never reach any finite age where they say, okay, that's enough. You know, it wouldn't make a difference, would it? You know, so there's always a consideration there. Not that it would really, I guess, it wouldn't really matter, I guess, at that point, being that you wouldn't actually be growing old. So Social Security would probably be a moot point then anyway, when I think about that a little further. But, you know, then there's also the consideration of population. Okay, and I'm sure many people have brought this up already. But when you really think about it, I don't know if anybody remembers a movie years back, probably about 30 some odd years ago now, called Logan's Run, where the planet was so overrun with population that they started killing people once they reached the age of, I think it was 30 or something like that. You know, you had a little crystal embedded in the palm of your hand, like right here, you know, and it would be a specific color when you were born, and every 7 years it would change colors. You know, actually it might not have been 30, it might only have been like 21 or something like that, you know, which really kind of sucks if you ask me. But that was the whole population thing, and you'd have to have some type of control on the population to be able to ensure that, you know, with all these immortal people running around, we wouldn't overburden the planet. You know, unless at some point, you know, science catches up and we are able to build spaceships and explore the galaxy, you know. And in such an instance like that, in cases if they really can't find a faster than light drive, then the only way the human race could possibly survive might be by generational ships or the use of immortality at some point where, you know, to drive their ships as far as they can go with them, you know, at the close to light speed or whatever it would be. But then again, you'd still have a problem, again, with resources in situations like that. You know, you'd have to find some way to renew your food sources and whatnot, whether it be like some sort of replication technology or some such as on the Star Trek, you know, be that as it may, you know. There are many different things you can think about, many different ways you can go with this whole subject. You know, so it's like, so yeah, immortality for some people might actually be beneficial too. Like I say, like with the space travelers, if scientists can ever come up with some type of hyperspace or warp drive or something that gets you back and forth to the ends of the universe a lot faster. But some scientific people, that has been brought up before, you know, I think you brought that up in your video too, Largo, that that there might be a reason for some scientists to be able to live longer, at least, maybe not immortal, but, you know, who knows, you know, and be able to do whatever work they've been working on and finish that work and whatever it is, you know. But then you have the chances of a whole separate class war going on between rich people and scientific people. Because the scientific people could turn around, you know, at some point and keep the technology for themselves and be immortal and do whatever they got to do, you know. Maybe they could build weapons and keep people at bay, you know. I mean, there's all different ways something like this could go. Then, like, the rich people themselves could take over the technology, and not the technological people harbor it for themselves, and they end up creating, like, a utopian for themselves, and the little people down below have to keep working for them forever, you know. But again, there's always still that population issue. So it all comes back to the population, in my opinion, you know, and resources. Okay, to be able to stay on this planet and be immortal, even let's say, let's say 100,000 people become immortal. Okay, to my mind, the rest of the planet would probably have to be wiped out for those people to be able to live, if it happens sometime in the next few generations, because otherwise the resources would be finite over time, and there'd be wars and everything else, you know, just like there can be now over resources. You know, so it's, to my mind, you know, immortality of itself on Earth, no. Okay, immortality in any event, to my opinion, in any aspect, whether it's on Earth or after, I think would be a kind of form of hell, to be honest with you. I mean, just think about that. I mean, you'll keep doing things, you'll keep trying different things, and do whatever interests you until nothing else interests you. I mean, there's nothing left to do, or nothing left to do that even interests you to even want to do. Okay, yet you're immortal. What do you do then? Okay, I mean, if you're immortal and invulnerable, then you're screwed because you can't even kill yourself. But at least if you're susceptible to, I mean, if you're susceptible to being hit by a car or jumping out of a window and that'll kill you, then at least you have a way out at that point. Okay, but again, you know, it's, I don't see it as being desirable myself, or, you know, just for that point. Now, living 200-300 years would be kind of cool, but there'd be a lot of problems with that still too. But to live forever, no. And then there's another question. Okay, actually, no, that wouldn't even. Forget I said anything. That wouldn't even be a factor in. I was thinking about the end of the planet itself. You know, and if you've already lived the millions and millions of years, and you'll probably be pretty much happy to die with the planet at that point anyway, you know. So, I don't know, take it as you will, you know. Got any questions, I'll try and follow up. Sometimes I miss a few things when I'm going on in my videos, but that's what it is, and that's my response, and that's how we have to take it, I guess, or take it as you will. And with that, have a good day.